What's up, everybody? I'm back with another Taylor the Fiend video. This one titled, Women Are Trying to Shame Men into Paying for Them. Can't wait to see what we're going to have for today. But like the video, check out Taylor the Fiend's channel. I'd like to give credit to the original content creator as much as possible. Follow me on my YouTube and Twitch channel, Talkative Carl, as I stream games, react to videos, and review content. So without further ado, let's check out Tyler the Fiend.
Women want men to be in provide mode. But when we criticize, which is a form of emasculation, a man will retract from providing to protect. And if it's a direct attack, like on your character, you're just like your father. Now he's protecting himself. And that's what brings out the worst in men.
Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again, and today we are taking a look at what happens when men choose security. Don't forget to drop a comment, and let's jump right into it.
But the moment that man stops paying for you is the moment he stops liking you. Let's talk about it. It was like weekend 2 of this guy and I hanging out, and I will never forget, we are in the line of Chick-fil-A, and he lets me order first, but he's keeping the distance, so I just pulled out my debit card and paid for my meal. And that's when I realized that the energy had shifted. Prior to that, he was paying for all of our meals, he was pursuing me, he was trying to impress me and date me.
That's because he lost interest. There was no point in paying for her anymore. It's that simple.
In that moment of me paying for my Chick-fil-A, I felt like his homie.
The fact that so many women put their self-worth into how much a man can spend on them is absolutely crazy. Plus, she's 2 weeks into a relationship where she acknowledges that he's paid for everything up until these 2 weeks. So why is it that she's so selfish she can't pay for his meal? Maybe he's trying to gauge and see if, maybe she can hold him up at some point in the relationship.
Too many modern women are completely obsessed with money, just so long as it's not actually theirs. They just want other people to use their money on them.
Or he wants to know, hey, if I make you
That's a terrible, terrible mindset, and it's prevalent within most women. It's kind of ironic that they talk all big and bad about, I own my own business. I make this such and such money. I got these degrees. But it goes to show that this is why guys don't care about any of that stuff, because you won't spend it on us like that, like it is in the reverse. We don't expect it. Most of us don't care. But it's just the principle of the matter. We want some level of reciprocity. We want some level of functional equivalent to show that you're not just in it for this, potential status resource. You're not a drain. You're not a liability. Men don't want to hook up with liabilities. We don't care about your money, but we want to see if you're going to be there for us in terms of holding us down. If you're marrying a stockbroker or a Wall Street banker, I don't care if you are a RN and you make decent money. He'll still expect you to show that you like him for him and you want to be a proper helpmate, and show that you're bringing something much more important to the relationship or potential relationship beyond the finances. He is a lawyer. Let me iron his clothes for the week. Even though I work at a hospital. But he doesn't care about that stuff. He wants me to be kind of like the potential wife and mother of the future, so I better put in that work now to show that I have the capabilities to do so. I can fill certain spots that he cannot or don't have the time to fulfill himself. And I can take a lot off his plate because he is handling the majority of the finances most of the time. He's pretty much making sure I'm well protected most of the time. He's making sure that I got a roof over my head most of the time. He's making sure I'm under his covering most of the time. He is doing the bigger loads, so to speak. So you as a lady need to fulfill certain duties that is suited for ladies. Don't really talk about like, oh, I can pay for my own. Like, oh, we don't care about that. Stop it. Stop uttering the words about your finances. We do not care. Because on average, throughout a given year, guys will be the ones making sure you're pay, outside of the bills aspect. You're getting so many gifts just because and like free meals. You get like, oh, he's like, oh, I feel a little peckish. Like, can you give me my favorite snacks from down the street? We're out going to the corner store at 2 in the morning to go get your little funky little snacks. Instead of you having to go out there yourself to do it. We just want to make sure that you girls are in it for us. Like, hey, like, I like this dude. I want to make sure he's good. I want to make sure I'm taking care of him. Because don't lie to your biology. You naturally want to take care of a guy. You naturally want to, mother future children. Because women like to mother things. It's going to come out one way or the other. It might as well be to an actual child with a guy that you actually like.
My wife one day and maybe I lose my job or I get injured on the job and I'm out of work for a long period of time, are you going to be able to step up financially and take care of me the same way that I've been taking care of you? And I am sorry, but it is literal prostitution if you are gauging how much somebody loves you based on how much they're buying you. They are buying your love, and you don't think that's some form of an escort service. Make it make sense. And I can almost guarantee that she missed out on a really great guy because she's too focused on what he's spending. It's only 2 weeks in and she gave up too fast.
It's too many girls who want to marry the status, not the man. A lot of these women are glorified, prostitutes. It's the truth, because they're too obsessed with the money. It's okay that you want a guy to, take care of you, especially like in terms of finances, but if you take it to the like an insane degree, an obscene degree, then it just feels like a finesse. Like, you don't really care about the man himself. You just want to spend everybody else's money but your own. That's why, like, there's girls that don't like going out to eat with a bunch of other girls, because they all like looking at each other all crazy without properly establishing who's going to be paying what first, or how they're going to divvy up the money. There's a video that I reacted to a couple weeks back where a woman who was a while back when she discovered that she was bisexual, and when she started dating women, and when she started like going on her first date with women, she understood what guys feel, experienced finally what guys feel when it comes to it's up on my channel, so you can, it's in the thumbnail, so you'll know what it is, what I'm talking about. This Asian girl who finally understood, like, oh my god, like, I went on this date with a girl and she asked me out, and so we went on to this date, and she expected her, since she's the one that asked her out, to pull out her wallet and pay for the drinks, but she's sitting there for a whole a good few minutes glaring at her, expecting her to like pay, which she had to, which she did, but she felt like kind of like scammed, because she remembered how many excuses her and other females use. Were like, I put on all this makeup, I did all this, wear all these nice little clothes and blah blah blah, the typical excuse. It's like to look good for this date. But then she realized, I took the exact same kind of time to look just as good for this date, and I still feel kind of scammed. I'm the one that have to pay. So yeah, it's just like, what we doing here? It's like, are you there, for the? Are you there to look for somebody to finance your life? Because women don't like spending their own money. They will find some way to get somebody else to pay for them for certain things. Of course, like, women do, well financially, because most of their money ain't being spent by them. It's somebody else's money. And what money they do spend on themselves is only for stupid crap.
Because she's only looking for his money and not for who he is as a person.
It's actually tragic how in a lot of modern day relationships, loyalty is measured by earning power. It makes absolutely no sense.
So for all the men out there who are like, oh, women don't want to chase us anymore because they're all boss babing their way through life and they're financially independent. Most of us are broke as fuck. Most women, like myself, are struggling financially in this economy. Half of my wage goes towards rent. And despite this, many women still don't want to find a man. Not because they're thriving. I'm certainly not thriving. I'm fucking flirting with financial ruin. But would rather be broke and alone than with you going 50-50, putting up with your bullshit and giving us the bare minimum. We are over it.
It's her choice to live on the brink of financial ruin. Men don't have any reason to actually care. That's something these women fail to understand, is that men are not incentivized to give a damn at all.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah, they make these little stupid TikTok stories like it's like freaking journals or diaries about woe is me attitudes. Like I'm, like I'm facing independent. I need you to be able to like match my blah blah blah. And I'm glad this other one was a lot more honest about like, no, I'm struggling here. So it's like, that is why it was so important that the fathers or father figures of the families make sure the daughters or the daughter equivalents are matched up with guys that are, financially well off, competent, or the whole diary thing. There's like an equal exchange. What do you call those kind of marriages, like arranged marriages. That's why those things were such a huge thing for millennia, up until around like the 60s during the suffragette movement, because we knew men knew what their daughters, or at least families knew what the daughters needed in the long run and not for the short-term gain. We knew that, okay, they need to be with guys, hopefully they're good character. They need to be guys be competent, financially well off, or at least come from a family that's financially well off. Make sure he's strong as a leader. Make sure he handles business. And in exchange, the daughter is raised properly to be a wife, because that is the most important thing that a guy is seeking from a wife, a potential mother. Because now it's so ironic that nowadays there are girls saying like, "Oh my God, I wish we didn't have the freedom to vote and all that other stuff. I just want to be like, in the house. I just want to cook and clean and I don't want to do all this extra stuff. I don't want to struggle. Like, this goes to show that you girls don't know what y'all want. Y'all, at least the women of yesteryear didn't know what they wanted. They thought, because they got bamboozled by, the Gloria Steinbergs, who are just jaded, bitter shrews of yesteryear, and now women are being punished for it now, and buying into the old feminist BS, and now it's like, they're sad. Like, I can't find a good man out in the world. It's tough to find good men. But there are good men. You just end up choosing the terrible dudes because your discernment is crap. Guys know what kind of guys that their daughters or nieces or daughters or sisters should be with. We have a better sense of judgment because we know guys. We know the kind of guys that are going to be just the playboys and those who are actually serious about a relationship. Most girls end up choosing the bad boys because they, bring out some excitement and danger, the drama that stirs their emotions the right way. But, that works for them when they're young and impressionable, but by the time they hit the wall, now it's like, I'm ready to settle down because they, their prime years are pretty much behind them at this point, sadly. So then they're like, where all the good men at? Well, you kind of wasted your time. They don't want 30-something, or at least 35-plus-year-old women outside of possibly sex. That's assuming you took good care of yourself. Because, sadly, you ladies, you got, like, let's say, like, get as early as 17 and as late as maybe 32. And I'm pushing it slightly here. That gap in time is your young, fertile years where you have all the buying power. Where, like, you can wield that power any way you see fit. But the wiser women know that I'm going to capitalize it off this now by, make sure I find a guy with good character. I don't care about his status or, what kind of job he has, as long as he has a stable job and he actually likes me for me. I like him for him. I want to actually take care of him, and we go through this life together and have my fertile years where I can birth, 2 to possibly 4 kids, raise them, spend those happy years raising children that I love with a man that I love. So by the time they get a little older and self-sufficient, then I can start concentrating on any kind of ambitions or goals that I really want to do, because those will always be there. Your womb has a expiration date, unfortunately. Guys, it works in the reverse. Our prime years ain't until we 35 plus, or possibly even 40 plus. If we stick our nose to the grindstone and work hard, take good care of ourselves in terms of physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, by the time we get to those 40, 45 plus age, we're at our prime years to dictate how things should be moving and shaking. But in our 20s, we are broke as a joke. We are pretty much invisible to the wide array of women. Unless the guy is super tall or a bad boy. That's why we need to bring back, at least in my personal opinion, we need to bring back arranged marriages. Because women can't choose proper men. Because most guys reasonably can agree there are scummy dudes out there in the world. But ironically, it's those guys that you give up your precious resources to, ladies. Your bodies. You give up that one component that you are very much admired for. You give it up to guys who won't care about you. All because he's exciting. And now when you went through your fun years, you expect the good guy to play cleanup for you, but you also make him go through hoops. You won't bang him on the first date. You did that with Chad and Tyrone, but Bill from accounting, he has to wait about like 3 to 5 days before you give him any sex. You end up breaking the rules for the guys that you actually really want but never committed to you. So you're like a jaded cop now, and you just give me my pension. I'll settle for this guy. And then you ultimately end up divorcing that guy 10 years down the line, so you can just take half his stuff, so you can just finance your life for the rest, for the rest of your days. So you don't have to really do much of anything outside of doing little stuff like Tupperware parties or something, whatever like most girls want to do. It's a horrific system that we're working with now, that little bit by little bit women are acknowledging this is, we kind of been sold a scam. So like maybe Gen Alpha will be a little bit more smarter and marry early, have a stable family, a nuclear family, and a foundation to start off with, and not obsess with what this guy can do for me financially.
A lot of women require a man to meet their financial needs, but they can't meet a man's needs, and his needs are actually free. He wants you to be loving, respectful, caring, kind, loyal, show some affection, actually initiate sex here and there, show him that you want him, know how to say I'm sorry, take some accountability, listen whenever he speaks. And you can't do any of these free things, but you expect for that man to provide your lifestyle.
I've been saying that.
Thank you. But there'll be certain entitled girls, these like slurs out there in the world, that be calling this woman a pick-me. And I hope women like that who thinks like this young woman don't be bothered by that. You let that roll off your back. Oh yeah, I will be picked, bitch. Darn right. And he's gonna love me and I'm gonna love him, because like I'm not like y'all lonely ass bitches. There's women like that, like I said, are growing and growing and growing, because they acknowledge that the negative side of women and how a lot of them and the top 20% of dudes are corrupted the dating pool. That the average people who are looking for love, long-term relationships, are struggling to come together because, you know, guys are meeting chicks, too many chicks that, you know, are entitled, gold digging, narcissistic, you know, just mean spirited and abrasive, and in turn end up making those guys who probably don't know any better very jaded and decide, you know what, if she want to bang these bad boys, I might as well be a bad boy, and I'll just, you know, okay, fine, mistreat me like that, fine, like I'll just, you know, become like, you know, the monster that they think I am, and I'll probably get better results. You're gonna create the monsters you say you want to avoid, ladies. If he wasn't such like a greedy, entitled ass, guys would be more inclined to do those niceties without worry. But you also have to meet his expectations too. Guys actually have expectations, and like this woman said, they are free. We don't ask for much, and what we do ask for is almost like pulling teeth just to get you to do it. And it boggles the mind. There's got to be a problem.
This on the channel for a very long time, but men are really not that complicated. But a man's needs are often seen as a major inconvenience or oppressive or something like that.
Take care of your friends whenever y'all all go out and about, because that seems to be a new thing going around. Make sure that you are taken care of. Your hair's done, your nails done, you got a new car, your rent paid, all your bills is handled. But you can't meet any of his needs, and his needs are actually free. Really? When I say that shit out loud, don't it sound silly?
Modern women made it very clear that a man's needs are less important than her delusional wants.
There's women out there that will walk away from a good man talking about, oh, he wanted to go half on rent, he wanted to go half on.
Facts.
Like you know how fatuous and inane that is to say he wanted to go half. First of all, you are responsible for 100% of your life as an adult. 100% of your problems, 100% of your bills, 100% of your stress, and you mean to tell me you had a man right there like, I'll take half of that from you. And you was like, that ain't good enough.
Right.
Damn.
I want you to take it all. I don't want to have no responsibility as an adult. And that is financial abuse, and that is feminine manipulation and abuse. So then, fellas, you need to walk away.
It's not asking too much for modern women to be functioning adults, but of course you can't tell them that, or else you'll just be dragged across the internet or something else.
Because that's mean, because they care about their fifi so much. And like the man said, you're a functioning adult. It's not like a crime against humanity for a guy who is equally as struggling as you are, who is on your level, to say like, hey, let's work together. I'll meet you halfway, you meet me the other half, and we'll build from there. But most of these girls don't want to build with a guy no more. They want to infantize themselves. Where they just want to, like, ironically, they want a father. What do parents do? They take care of the child because the child has minimal to no responsibilities. That's most women right now. Most, not all, but there's most women nowadays. They don't want to be an adult. They don't want to spend their own money. When I was a child, I loved the idea that, like, when I want some, like, let's say, like, I wanted some new Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I like that because I talked to some friends years ago about this. It's like, man, I kind of miss the days where I didn't have to spend my own money to pay for my little wants and desires. Like, I want to buy some new Yu-Gi-Oh cards today, and it's like, dang, they're like down like $20 some odd, and it's like, I just recently saw that like the inflation is crazy. Now it's like darn near $22, $23. Golly, but I was like, oh my god. I told her, man, I miss days when I was a kid and like my parents asked, they'll just buy it for me because I didn't have to worry about money because it's not my money. But now as you're an adult, you understand the realities of the world. Not like I never did before when I was a child. I knew that my parents had careers and they paid for bills and stuff like that. Like, I wasn't dumb, but that's the thing. I think most young boys will probably learn early on than most young girls that, yeah, the reality is bills need to be paid, things of that sort. But it's like the most women who grow up understanding she has to pay like a phone bill and stuff like that, but they are giddy when they get a guy or finesse a guy to pay for most of what her needs and wants, where she barely have to put up any of her own stuff. That's what a lot of these girls look for. They're looking for people to fund their life, so they can live in luxury, where they can just want to live like Jeff Bezos or Kim Kardashian, where they just lays about under the sun and just do little TikTok dances and just like do makeup tutorials and just not work. They don't want to work, which they didn't before. Most of them didn't do it a long time ago. They pretty much like are kept in the house and probably just cooked and clean for the most part. But now, like, their complaints like, oh my god, I gotta work. And it's like, yeah, because women of yesteryear fought for you to gain this right, so you won't be second-class citizens. But now it's kind of like buyer's remorse at this point. They realize feminism was a scam. They realize, they got sold a bill of goods. They, they realize harshly that they don't know what they want. More often than not, the families or the men in their families, typically the father, knew what they needed, not what they wanted. They knew what they needed. That's what we need to make sure fathers are in these children's lives, both men and women. So that way they can be well-rounded adults when they get older. They'll have some symbols of a reality check. So the young girl, once she gets into her 20s, she knows what she's expecting from a guy, and she knows what the guy might be expecting from her, and it isn't money. She needs to be pleasant, not a headache, not a slore. It's just like our men's wants and needs are free. The only time you probably have to pay for something for a guy is probably for his birthday or Christmas. Outside of that, you don't really have to spend all that much, if any.
For it.
Okay, girls, we do not want to date a man in finance. I can explain. If it's for their money, finance does not pay well as an industry besides very few companies and very specific roles. Like someone who's in wealth management is going to make a way different who's like a quantitative trader. Even some of the top firms like Goldman Sachs, they do not pay their people very well. They're going to have a really bad work-life balance, meaning they're always going to be working and emotionally not available for you. This is not everybody, but these are just common things I've noticed. Also find that they really try hard to keep up with this like finance bro lifestyle. So whether it's going out, spending a lot of money on fancy things, which all means like less time for you and less, gifts for you.
Even when she tries to explain the financial industry, she still has to bash those very same men here.
I often find that their coworkers and friends attract other like toxic male finance bros, even if your partner or your person.
I do say I appreciate she not one time did no bird hands. I do appreciate that, because then it'll come across very condescending. She actually just trying to meet you. She appears to be one of those people that you can actually have a open dialogue and exchange of thought with, and she'll be more open to conversation. I I can, read that off of her fairly quickly. So I appreciate that.
And is not like that. They tend not to have real hobbies besides
And
going
she doesn't
out
have
and
that
drinking.
like talking voice, like, oh my god, like, it's like that little nasally voice. It's just like a chill chick. I may not agree wholeheartedly with what she's expressing, but from what I'm reading from her, I can gather that I can actually have an open dialogue with this woman without her having like a shit fit over words that other guys might have to tiptoe around other women about.
So take that what you want. So I personally think the tech and software engineering product manager bros are better. I mean, there's always icky ones everywhere. They have great pay, great work-life balance. They also have stocks and more time for normal hobbies, wholesome hobbies. I also find that their hobbies tend to be traveling and nice restaurants, Michelin star restaurants, and these are experiences you can have together. Don't get me wrong, there are toxic tech bros too, but I think as a whole, it is much better than the finance Wall Street boys. Thoughts? Let me know.
She's pretty much teaching women how to find men that they can use for their own benefit. I want you guys to notice how these discussions don't ever actually revolve around what the women bring to the table or what men might be interested in. It's all about what they can get from men.
You know what I've noticed? Women do not want providers for real. They want immature men with money. They want men who base their status off of how much money they have in their wallets. They want men who lead with their wallets. They do not want a man to genuinely be a provider in their lives. Because let's think about it. When we go onto social media now, we talk to any of the young girls now, what they talking about? He got to have some money. He got to have some bread. He got to pay for this. He got to do my nails. He got to do my hair. I'm not going on the first date unless he dropped $200, $300, $400, $5 million on me.
There is no point in leading with your wallet as a man. Nothing good ever comes from it. You will just be completely used by modern day women.
There's nothing said about character. There's nothing said about integrity. There's nothing said about ambition. There's nothing said about goals. It's just how much money does he have? And the men who lead with their wallets are typically the men who have nothing going for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, not to get too personal about what I got going on, but I can say I can see myself starting my upswing. There are certain things that I'm planning on that will generate some solid revenue, and it goes to show that if a guy is ambitious enough, by the time he's like 35 plus or 45 plus, he'll be hitting the prime of his life where he will probably generate some pretty decent passive income or making just buttloads of money because he busted his butt to get to that point. And what I don't want to run into, or I'll just either do the DiCaprio thing and just mess around with 20-somethings and really not like, it can go one of two ways. And not take it like the girl seriously, or go the Kevin Costner route and make a super ironclad prenup. Not wanting to or expecting to any kind of deal with any divorce, but you never know. But I also don't plan on marrying through the state. If I choose to get married, it's going to be through like just religious ceremony. The state will never be involved. If a guy, just word of advice, guys, if you want to get married, I would advise you to just do it through religious purposes, never through the state. Or, better yet, don't get married at all. Because there's nothing guys gain from marriage that he cannot have in a long-term relationship. It's just probably just easier that way. Because it's just more for women to gain, not the men. It's too much for women to just gain, and with the whole no-fault divorce, which is, pretty much giving an incentive for women to just break up on just for the sheer basis alone of I'm bored. They can it's just like a get marriage free pass, and on top of that leaving with a good chunk of money she did not earn. And he was like, well, like she was married for like 10 years. Yeah, you don't think that she'll manipulate? Like, okay, I married this guy, I'm gonna hold off for like 5 years plus, and then making sure like, oh, like, because, you know, or even if she did marry through love and blah blah blah, but then it's like, well, I got a couple of kids off of him. It's been a couple of years. Yeah, I'm still young and hot, and I'm, you know, I networked and all this stuff thanks to his resources. So like, I can just like monkey branch, or I can just, you know, take the house or half of the house. In terms of like casino terms, not literal terms, it's something that guys constantly have to worry about. Sure, you can say like guys got equal amount of no fault divorce if they choose to utilize it for a reason. Yeah, but how often do guys, like, I ask honestly, guys, you can see the statistics. Guys don't overwhelmingly divorce women in mass. If a guy ends up divorcing a girl, it's almost always for legitimate, extreme reasons. She was disloyal. She like ended up having like a baby by another dude and making it seem like it was mine. Those kind of things, like on that extreme level, guys will divorce a woman like that, not look back. Other than that, guys will put up with a lot. We don't give a crap if we're bored or she's not excited. Guys are not like expecting a woman to constantly make things exciting. We pretty much want stability. And stability almost always is boring, which is fine. It's the women who constantly want that stimulation all the doggone time. And they're the ones that have to emotionally regulate themselves and realize their guys are not their emotional stress balls or dancing monkeys. Sure, a guy should be able to like go out on these little vacations with his girl or from time to time, take her out, sure. But most times, guys just want to go work, come home to a lovely wife, and just relax.
Because they reel you in financially. They know that that is the most attractive thing about them. And because they know that's what they can offer, and you guys have made it abundantly clear that that's the only thing that you're looking for, they're winning. They're going to always come out on top.
Even if a modern day woman gets a guy with money, she still won't be able to respect him at all. A lot of the guys who are providers just kind of get cheated on or treated like trash anyway.
And then when you're in that relationship, because a lot of y'all are lover girls at heart, like let's call it what it is. You want to listen to the Shira Sevens and all of this, and you want to be a gold digger and a sugar baby, and you only with a man for money, but that's not really who you are. You want the relationship. You want the love. You want the commitment, right? You want the reassurance. You want the emotional connection. But see, when you don't get that, you're mad. Men are this and men are that. No, baby. You wanted the nigga with the money, right? You don't feel safe with them. You don't feel secure with them. You don't feel like you can actually build a future with them.
Those types of women are not actually looking for a good man. What they're looking for is some sort of a retirement plan, somebody to pay their bills so that they don't have to worry about anything, maybe some guy to rob in the future.
Because again, they know you have taught them, and like I said a million times, if y'all want men to be different, you have to be different. And what happens is women in general, or women in this category at least, has taught men exactly what they want, exactly what they need. So they don't have the need to build character or integrity or any of the other moral things that will be really important, like in a person that you're going to spend your life with, right? Or in a person that you're going to at least invest in for some period of time. So you get the lame nigga with money and stick with that. Don't complain about that, because that's what y'all said that y'all wanted.
There's a reason why the saying, be careful what you wish for, exists.
When you grow and expand your mind and develop and put time into yourself and your train of thought and get off of social media and stop listening to all these bitter women on social media who are either trying to get your money or they themselves have not been able to attain the love that they wanted, and so now they flipping the script. When you actually invest that time, you will find a man who will give you his last. You will find that generous man. You will find a kind man, but you have to be the woman that is deserving of that. And the woman who's deserving of that is not looking for lame men who lead with their wallet.
It is too late for a lot of these women. They are not capable of being able to learn and grow as people. And that's the sad truth of it.
Women want men to be in provide mode.
Because,
but when we criticize, which is a form of an
that's why their prime years are in their late teens into their 20s. That's the time when they need to lock it down. Don't think like you want to live like a city girl lifestyle. That will backfire on you tremendously, because the guy that you will ultimately want in the future, whether you realize it or not, that guy will have expectations, because that guy had built something of noteworthiness And the last thing he wants is some floozy that can easily tear her down because of her past or just by some allegations or her ineptitude. All that falls under the umbrella of a liability. We want assets, not liabilities. Guys don't care about the same things that women care about. We care about young, inexperienced, pleasant women that will bear us children, that will get on our program, that won't be a headache, that will we will love to provide for, and then in turn she will make sure our lives are easier, so when we get into that world we're supercharged up to take on what we need to take on and come back to repeat the process, and she can live comfortably without the stresses of the world because the man is taking the brunt of it, while the ladies are expecting the guy to be the provider and all the and the security maker and the leader and all the other stuff, which is fine. But when you take it to this dangerous degree, then you end up with morally corrupt and bankrupt men who won't hesitate to probably beat on you because he had a tough day at work. That he misuses his masculinity to cause harm. That the kind of guy that will probably end up dead or in prison. All because you hooked up with him because he was exciting in your 20s. The kind of guy that your father would, automatically tell you never associate with that kind of guy ever again. And be with Bradley. Sure, he's a little lame, but he is busts his butt and, he's respectable. He might be a little boring, but you can agree that boring and stable and loving will always outweigh exciting but life-threatening.
Emasculation, a man will retract from providing to protect. And if it's a direct attack, like on your character, you're just like your father. Now he's protecting himself. And that's what brings out the worst in men, when they're protecting themselves, because it overrides their compelling desire to protect others.
Believe it or not, emasculation and shaming are not the keys to a man's heart. That is just common knowledge. If you try and go down this route, what's going to happen is you're...
And this is women like that like this, hold on.
Is you're just going to push... If you try and go down the path, that is emasculation.
It overrides.
It's women elderly women like this, used to be the wise women of the group, like her or Felicia Rashad or Sherry Shepherds of the world, or the kind of women that young girls should have been, listening to over the years because they had the wisdom and the sensibilities and understanding and had healthy relationship with men to show them what those young girls should be providing towards society and what's important, especially towards the men they potentially want. These are the kind of women that were the norm to prep young girls into marriage, how to be wives, what is expected, what is their duty as wives and mothers. But instead, they listen to the ratchetness of the Cardi B's of the world or the Kim Kardashians of the world. They're super obsessed about money and status and girl bossing. And, throwing their private parts all around town because, men can do it. And they're suffering for it. But when they get older, nobody can tell them nothing. Because, they're spoiling their fun. Oh, you're just a pick-me. Oh, you're a misogynist. You got internalized misogyny, all that other stuff. Because they do not want to be held accountable. They do not want to be told what they need to do. Because that's not fun. They don't like to be challenged or get any pushback. Because that's not fun. You've been mean. It's all about my feelings. It doesn't make me feel good. I have to, actually provide some reciprocity towards the guy that I'm with. Ew. Like, I actually gotta, build with the guy. Ew, it's not fun. He should be just paying for my stuff.
Their compelling desire to protect others.
Believe it or not, emasculation and shaming are not the keys to a man's heart. That is just common knowledge. If you try and go down this route, what's going to happen is you're just going to push men further away from you.
They're the smallest version of themselves, and they're protecting themselves. And they could shut down, right? They could withdraw, or they could attack. And women cause men to attack, and then we think that's who men are. Women cause men to withdraw, and we think, oh, you ghosted me, right? We have all these accusations after we've caused it.
It is actually truly sad to see good men being broken down by bitter wives. I don't think any man really deserves to live like that.
Like, you really just should have paid for all our food.
For one, I'm not paying for everybody's food. It's your birthday, cool, but I'm not doing that. It's 18. Why don't you gotta pay for all y'all food, though? You brought 18 things.
Entitled men. And not one of these girls, and I'm pretty sure there are at least a couple of them in the back of their minds, but they want to keep quiet because they don't want to disrupt the sisterhood. They know full well this is like effed up. There was like a video I saw where this woman pointed out that she got invited out to this birthday party. It was a bunch of girls, and they all expected her to chip in for, like, to share the totality of the bill, even though lots of them bought a bunch of expensive food, and she was like, no, I paying for my own food. Well, like, why gotta, like, because that's the thing. They let that have been like a man in a group of girls. They'll all look at him like, hint, nudge, nudge, like, kind of like, can't, like, gotta pay for all that stuff. I'm not buying rounds of food for y'all. I don't care whose birthday it is. Like, I will pay for the birthday girl or the birthday boy, but I'm not sitting there funding for the rest of y'all bitches. Fuck y'all. Like y'all girl bosses, y'all got clearly jobs. Y'all better, like, reaching those purses. See, this is like the mindset of a lot of women out there. As much as y'all tell all these degrees and careers y'all have, y'all still expect the guy to be the one to, even if you're not even with the guy, still expect him to be the provider, and he's not even, like, if this guy is going to be expected to pay all of this stuff, including the birthday girl, he better be having like an orgy session with all y'all girls. I'm gonna be real. And that's what he should have said to these chicks. Okay, I'll make y'all a deal. I'll pay for all your stuff, but I'm taking all y'all back to my crib, and I'm gonna be knocking each one of y'all down. How's that sound? That's a no? Then get the fuck out of my face. And that's real. And that's from the heart.
You staying here with him, or you coming with me? Bro!
She thinks that calling that man broke is somehow going to motivate him to waste money. I don't understand the logic here.
Got the birthday girl and my wife.
Separate checks. I'm sorry, you're the only man at this table. Why would you want separate checks? It's all women here.
I'm not responsible for paying everybody. I got the birthday girl.
But you invited everybody. You invited all of us.
I didn't invite you. Ernestine invited you. Okay, I'm responsible for who I brought.
Okay, you're the only man at the table.
So,
I'm sorry, hold on. We was all doing Russian roulette, paying for credit cards and all that. Now all of a sudden you want to split checks? We doing split checks,
That
bro?
was 2021.
Y'all
okay?
wait.
Things were different.
He's the only man, but she is strong and independent. She shouldn't need him to pay.
Y'all, hold on. This is my birthday, for real. You're the only man at the table. You're not going to pay the check?
It's $700 for this whole table, and it's my birthday.
You're kidding me right now? You're not cheap right now. Okay, first.
I don't care, but unless it's Jesus' birthday, I'm not paying like, $700. That's what I'm talking about. Like, there's no self-awareness with most of these girls. I wish there was at least one girl here speaking up for this guy. It's like, girl. It's like, what do girls usually say? Keep it T, keep it cute, something like that, right? This is giving cute at all. I'm pretty sure a lot of these girls have, like, very well-paying, a good well-paying jobs. That they can pay for their own meal. And I bet you it's probably $700 because, A, it's probably like a very swanky restaurant, but B, I'm pretty sure a lot of them, under the pretenses that, or at least under the assumption that this guy is going to, like, gladly shell out $700 and like, and they are just stunned by the fact that they were proven wrong. Like, that's funny. You actually thought, because you think like, oh, a guy's coming. Of course he's gonna pay, because he's not gonna be like one of those broke dudes out there. He's gonna pay. It's just $700. But then like, and then they got the nerve to, at the very least, order reasonable price food. No, I'm pretty sure at least a few of them bought the most expensive meals they can think of, because they just assume like, well, he's gonna pay for it anyway. I might as well go all out. Woo, woo, girls' night. We're hanging out with the birthday girl. They're like, oh, it's like, it's like all this, like, and then got the nerve to be, upset when a guy's checking them. Like, no, I'm paying for the birthday girl and my meal, and that's it. Because what you thought this was?
If that was the case, I just took you out.
Are you gonna sit, Dre? Are you gonna let him sit here with a whole table full of women?
I really feel like it's not his responsibility, and when y'all get a husband.
I'm married.
I'm sorry. I do have a husband though. Hold on, wait a minute. Thank y'all.
So Don, you're good because it's your birthday, but rest of y'all, we want to chip in.
We're not us splitting checks.
He never offered.
I think that girl, I'm not sure what that girl said, I couldn't hear, but the girl in that black shirt that was standing up, I'm pretty sure she stood up for that guy. I don't know if that was his wife, maybe. So I'm glad that a woman stood up for a man. And of course the birthday girl is not going to care either way, because that's her birthday. She gets the pass. She's not counted among all these other bird brains here. Because it's her birthday. Lots of people, when they go out on their birthday, they're not expected to pay for their birthday. It's probably the only time a guy can get away with getting somebody else to pay for him is his birthday. That's pretty much like the only time I ever experienced women paying for my drinks or my meal. It's for my birthday. That is the only time. Guys get so little of that. We only expect that on our birthdays. Any other time out of the year, we're pretty much paying for the bulk of the stuff. But these girls are tripping. Y'all full grown adults, like damn near 40, and y'all acting like y'all 20-something high schoolers. Like, why are you paying for us? I was like, y'all grown ass women, and you carrying on like high schoolers, and it's $700. If you was in this position, why would you expect to pay $700 for everybody? You know you wouldn't. You'd be livid. I don't care if you have the money. It doesn't matter if you have it. It's the principle of the matter. And it gets under a guy's skin when we feel finessed. And more guys just grow some balls like this dude and say, like, I'm not paying for everybody's meal. I'm paying for the birthday girl, my meal, and my girl's meal. That's the only, payment I am shelling out for tonight. That's the only thing I was expecting to pay out for tonight. Why would I pay for all of you all? Why would you expect that? Why would you even operate under that assumption? You better go in, if you didn't bring your wallet, you better go in there and wash some dishes, because that ain't happening.
To pay for their meals, they just assumed as much. That is their fault.
When a woman says, you ain't a real man because you ain't paying my bills, that is a manipulation in order to trick you into funding her lifestyle. When your homie says to you, you ain't a man if you ain't paying your bills, that is him telling you that you need to step up your game so that you can live better. That's the difference. The woman is saying it from a selfish position because she's going to benefit from it. When your homie tells you that, he's telling you for your own good because he's not going to benefit from it. That's the difference.
If your friend is telling you that, it shows that he actually cares about your future as a man, I would say.
Y'all know what I find very strange? Being a woman and depending on your man to pay for every single thing while you have a job and you just keeping your money. Meanwhile, he's trying to build a future for himself too, while you just keep your money and just work and do whatever and not pay for anything. I find that very, very fucking strange. Like, the man has to pay for every single thing that you do. You just keep your money, but then you expect him to build up the household by himself. Like,
They love to say that their money is an escape fund, quote unquote, for after they destroy the relationship, right? There's never any consideration of the man or what he might have afterwards. It's all about her having to protect and keep money after she leaves you.
I'm still trying to get in the wraps of that, like, that theory that y'all got going on.
Yeah, they double dip. And it's often taught by other jaded girls, like, oh, girl, you know, you need to keep some money saved for yourself because you never know if he might leave you for some younger hot thing where you know, clearly, like, you know, there's a rarity. Guys don't just, when they find a good, decent woman, or at least a woman, very rarely he's willing to give that up. Or even if he's messing around with a 20-something-year-old, he's not getting rid of you. Guys like variety. They're not like, you know, monkey branching. It's like, oh, I found a 20-something, you know, and kicked up like the old broad. It's like, no, that's a rarity. I'm not saying it probably never happens, but that's a rarity because guys want like as much chicks as possible. So he ain't cutting any of them loose. Main chick or side, he ain't cutting them loose unless they become liabilities. That's probably the only difference or exception. But girls are always, you know, taught, or they always taught, but like a lot of times they are taught to make sure they put some stuff on the side for themselves. That's why they expect the guy to, you know, pay for so much because they always got money stashed because they want to be able to, like, because like, oh, what if he beats me? All these other little what if negative extreme scenarios that they either absorb through osmosis through other women or just, you know, have this wild imagination of something that probably will never happen unless you actively chose a dude who has a crappy character. Always have like some kind of money stashed away somewhere so that way they can always, like, you know, have extra money from him along with her own money so she can have like a Kim Kardashian lifestyle if she so choose to. And that's why that kind of stuff, they want a backup plan. They want a double dip. They almost never are all in with the man. That's why it's always pertinent that the fathers be the ones to use their discernment to find like a proper guy for them. So they can have somebody they know they can trust because their father gave them the green light. So that way, there's no reason to have money squirreled away anywhere because you fully trust this guy to handle his business. He might stumble along the way here and there, but you know he'll pick himself back up because you are there to dust him off. There's no double dipping because you don't trust the guy wholeheartedly because, you know, other women out there are jaded assholes because they didn't have no proper father to teach them, or they probably got slurs from mothers that didn't properly teach them about what they needed to do in terms of duties and what kind of guys to look out for. This double dipping is nonsense. Using proper discernment, and you don't have to worry about, oh, what if? You don't have to worry about squirreling away money. You can, you know, fully invest into this man because you will reap the benefits of it in the future. Because you trust him because he has good character, despite whatever status he has. He has strong character. He will make sure you're going to be good. Even if you have to pull double shifts at the factory, he's going to make sure you're good because you're making sure he's good. At home, you're holding down the homestead. When he gets there, you're putting the massage oil in his bag. You make sure he has like a warm meal, you know, like a running bath. The house is spick and span. Like, he has to worry about nothing. When he walks through that door, he can take off the armor before putting it back on for the next day. Girls don't have that mindset. It's kind of wild to think about.
I'm confused. It don't take two? It don't take two no more? Okay.
In her eyes, she's doing her part by simply existing and just being there. Nothing more, and honestly, usually less.
So it's okay for us to ask a man how he's going to provide, protect, and secure our future, but it's a problem for him to ask us how we're going to be the helpmate, the healer of the home, and his rib. We want to be the wife, but we don't want to discuss how. How? That's because they asses ain't nothing but selfish, materialistic ass little girls. Always want something for nothing. Always worried about a man bank account. But you're right. They ass don't be worrying about how they could be a wife to this man, how they could be his real, how they could be his queen, how they could treat him like a king that he is.
Women like that completely dehumanized men and see a lot of guys as nothing but a lifestyle funder.
And then they wonder why these men get with them and dog their ass out. Because guess what you doing? You dogging him out by taking money from him. Because that's all you want. So since that's all you want, he give you a little bit of it and he do what the hell he want to. Huh. Baby, I want a king because I'm going to be his queen. Checkmate.
You can't build a relationship if all you care about is money. It doesn't actually work that way. And again, this is one of the big reasons why a lot of guys just don't want these women at all. Even if that man might be incredibly wealthy, he's just going to be disgusted.
Let me get this straight. A man can't text you guys, what are you doing, because you got $2,000-$3,000 worth of monthly bills? I don't think you're really out here looking for like a real man, like an alpha man, a king, somebody who can teach you, guide you, lead you, somebody that you can actually build a foundation with, you know, get some genuine chemistry going. Y'all not looking for that. Y'all are out here looking for somebody to help you. Y'all are out here looking for a sponsor, somebody to sponsor your lifestyle. Because I'm trying to understand, when did it become a man's responsibility to even give you anything during the dating phase? A man is not responsible for your monthly bills in the dating phase. You're not his woman.
It's a corrupted take on traditionalism.
See, I'm glad there's women out there. That are like these past few girls in these clips, because it's a growing, amount of them, and these women will not care if these other entitled women call them pick-me's and all those other buzzwords. It's like, girl, don't worry, I don't mind getting, picked, because I'm gonna be happy. I ain't gonna be single lonely bitch like you, girl. I'm gonna have me like a rock solid family. Unlike your barren ass womb, you can't have an ass. Like I'm glad there's a growing trend of women who are sensible. Cause guys in general don't mind taking care of women, but they gotta be realistic about it. They gotta understand that there's gonna be expectation on their end of things. If a guy's sure take care of most of the bills, maybe not all. There are a few that do that. But if a guy's taking care of most of the bills, if a guy is making sure that you have that masculine presence, that guidance, that leadership, etc., there is an expectation on the reverse. What are you doing? That's not a bad thing to ask. It's not a bad thing to expect something from the woman's end. You have to hold up your end of the couch.
Gets to be modern, she gets to be non-traditional, but the man has to do everything and he has to be traditional.
And what makes you think that a man does not have his own bills, his own responsibilities? That is why a lot of you ladies cannot enjoy the dating phase, because you are out here dating for all the wrong reasons. When you are dating somebody, it should really only be about just seeing if you and this person got a connection. Can we build together? Are we on the same page? Do we got the same beliefs, the same values? Something along those lines. But y'all get so frustrated, well, he keep texting me what you doing and he ain't asking me how much is my rent and my car note. That's not his problem.
Why should a man pay the rent of some woman that he's dating? That makes absolutely no sense. These women are essentially just night workers at this point.
A real man is not getting ready to lead with his money. Only an insecure man lead with his money. There is some man that will give you money in the first couple of months, but that's a man that don't know himself. A man that knows himself, he's going to find that a turn off that you're even asking him for money. Allow that man to give you that good gesture. A man that is genuinely interested in you, he's going to see any type of weight that he can lift off of you, so you wouldn't have to ask to begin with. But if you ladies are out here drowning in your own monthly bills like that, to the point where you frustrated and can't date somebody for the genuine reasons, then you shouldn't be dating.
If they want a man to provide for them, then they should look
always with their hand out. They're walking charity cases. It's too many charity cases. And a lot of those so-called charity cases are meeting these guys with trauma, used box, possibly children, probably more than one, with possible crazy baby daddies, all this baggage. Now, I understand everybody has baggage, but there's certain baggage that is manageable, reasonable, expected in terms of day-to-day life. Like, oh yeah, I don't know. It's like, what's reasonable baggage? Oh, like, student loans. That's reasonable baggage. It's like, there's just like, that's tend to be like a thing. I got a job that's like, that pays fine, but I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck. It's just certain things that's kind of like, I know I can't. I'm struggling trying to find like a good example, but it's just like there's reasonable baggage. Like I got, mother issues or something. I don't know, just things that is like reasonable. Everybody got baggage, but it's just something that can easily manage. It's not a detriment to myself or another person. There's going to be the crippling of your mental. But like then there's like really like this is with their hands out. There's like, I got like 2 kids and like a couple of baby fathers that my weight is a little kind of like all over the place. Like I'm a 10 still, and like I'm looking for a man to take care of me and my children. Like within like the first couple of days, you won't have to pay for my like a babysitter. And so like if you want to go out on a date with me. That is the baggage that's the issue. That's the kind of baggage that no one wants to deal with. That is the baggage that men are addressing. That is unreasonable. That's what we are calling out. It doesn't make us misogynistic or insecure because, guys, in the first few dates or first date, and you already got your hand out, all it comes with these crazy expectations, and I barely even know your freaking favorite color. But you want me to do boyfriend or husbandly duties for you where I barely even got to know you yet. That is essentially a problem.
Harder for an actual job.
Can you imagine, how livid women would be if they operated on good faith, going on a date with a guy, and he's like, "Well, I don't pay on the first day without getting boxed. Or I don't typically, like if he comes with wild expectations of some kind of sexual acts from you." Then why would you come with some crazy expectations of financing your lifestyle coming from him to you? We gotta meet in the middle, meet halfway, come with reasonable expectations. That's why guys generally should go out on coffee dates with girls, so that way is zero expectations on neither one of these ends. You pay for an inexpensive date, there's $25 worth, not going to hurt you financially in the grand scheme of things, and the ladies don't feel any kind of pressure to do anything for the guy if something like doesn't, if the date doesn't bear like fruit to warrant a second one. There's no strings at that point, but it's just like a moment for people to gauge each other and see where it can go. And you're learning each other. If the girl has a child, she should have some sense of a sense of mind to know that I'm not expecting him to take care of. I agreed to go on this date. I'm not expecting him to pay for some, stinking babysitter. It is the onus is on me to make sure, because I genuinely like this guy. I want to see what he's about. Because I want like not only a man, but hopefully a potential father for these kids, or this kid. I'm going to make sure that I take the responsibility as the mother to make sure there's a babysitter for the kid, whether it's like a relative looking after them for the night, or I have to pay for one myself. But I'm not going to make the guy not only pay for the first day, but also pay for a babysitter. That's really honestly insulting, and like greedy and insensitive.
I would say
you need to go worry about your bills, get them situated, and then come back to the dating field, because your bills is nobody else's responsibility but your own. As long as a man is respecting you, making time for you, and he's showing you that he is consistently interested, that is all you should be asking for in the dating phase. Y'all gotta stop this. Y'all begging way too much. That's dry begging. That's what that is.
It seems like there's very little difference these days between a modern woman and a panhandler, which is a little bit sad. Make sure you click on one of the videos on screen now to.
Yeah, man, that is Yeah, good video, man. What's this? Sorry. Yeah, bots. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, man. Yeah, there's too many, like the woman says, too much dry begging out in the world. And it's usually coming from some women, not all. But it's usually coming from some women, and it's very much annoying. So, yeah, it's a lot. Well, I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. And watch out for women like this, honestly. They're not good for you. Like, you know, honestly, they honestly don't even deserve relationships at all because they aren't in the headspace to do so. They, you know, they struggle to understand there's some level of reciprocity that needs to be given. That's just a fact. Anyway, I'll see you guys for the next one. Take care.